Hey everyone, it's Luca. I have been waiting literally years for this. A new Shinsou is finally here in My Hero Ultra Impact, and he looks amazing in his hero outfits. His previous and only UR was released back in July 2021, when Ultra Impact was still JP exclusive. He was one of the very first banners ever in the game, released during Season 5 of the anime. I even played the JP version back in 2021 solely to summon Shinsou. I got him and didn't do much else with the account. I mean, I would have continued playing on the account if the game didn't give me that "your device security is too low" message. So somewhere on the JP servers, there's a baby Luca account just languishing there. I have been saving up my tickets for a possible new Shinsou for the longest time. I am now at 395 tickets, not quite back at 400, unfortunately. But this should be way more than enough for guaranteeing me new Shinsou. Lately, we've been getting some banners that have been super tempting, like the 1.5x rate 4th anniversary banners. I'd love to get more copies of Valentine's Momo and Snowboard Hawks. Snowboard Froppy would be great too. And I would love my first copy of New Year's Denki. But with all the new Season 7 characters, I really felt that Season 7 Shinsou was highly possible. I did think to myself, what if they release a new Shinsou around his birthday? Since his birthday is July 1st. Maybe July is his month. And guess what? It really is. 4 years after his initial release in July 2021, we finally have a new Shinsou in July 2025. I'm so glad now that I held back from summoning on those 1.5x Impact Fest banners. You bet I'll be summoning for Shinsou, even though summoning on Genpool banners is a terrible idea. I've prepared enough tickets to reach pity if I must. It's going to hurt using so many tickets on such a low value banner. But my goal with Ultra Impact has always been to collect favorite characters. So far, I've only had one Shinsou to collect, and I've tried to collect every single Aizawa. I'm still working on Red Zawa, but I have completed all the other Aizawas so far. As for Present Mike, these two have been really kind, but the new one has not been showing up. Favorites over meta any day. As for meta units, I try to aim for one copy on their release, so my account can at least stay relevant and competitive enough to help me earn more gems to get my favorites. If a character turns out super useful, like Celeb Bakugo, I summoned more on reruns. I suppose my oversight for the longest time has been Summer Nejire, because she released way back when seasonals were the same rates as Genpool banners, so summoning on them was very poor value for our tickets and gems. I skipped most seasonals and only really summoned on them for exclusive memories over characters. On the summer banners, I summoned for Splash and Dulce Summertime and called it a day after I got them. To this day, I don't have Summer Nejire or Summer Ochako as a result. But this year I will definitely summon for Summer Nejire. Her rerun is likely to be in August. Anyway, back to Season 7 Shinsou. He is here in his hero outfit. He looks so serious in his art. He's ready to join everyone. And I am so ready to summon for him. Rising Resolve Shinsou. What a great title. He's always been determined to do his best. You can't help what the heart longs for. Even though he is a minor character in the series, I've always felt that it was like staring into a mirror for Deku when he fought Shinsou in the sports festival. In a different lifetime, his story could have played out like Shinsou's, crawling his way up from Gen Ed with lots of factors working against him. I can't help but root for an underdog. I love underdog stories. And seeing Shinsou continue to strive towards his dreams in the background of the series, with Aizawa mentoring him, was super touching. I also always thought it was fascinating That Shinsou was there both times, something changed about Deku's quirk. First with Deku seeing the vestiges for the first time, and then when Deku accessed the quirks of the previous holders with Black Whip going wild. Shinsou, there's something special about you. It also helps that Shinsou is a cat lover. Back to Ultra Impact. Let's take a look at upcoming banners and see what is good value. First up, we have Shinsou's banner, Refreshing Break Between Lessons, coming up after Rockstar Jiro's banner ends. It's much higher value to summon on Jiro's banner since she is on a step-up banner. I don't recommend summoning on Shinsou's banner unless you are a huge fan. However, we'll look at his kit later, and I gotta say, I'm so happy he has an amazing kit. He looks like he'll be a great support. His banner comes with the new UR memory, Threat Encounter, featuring amazing art of Deku and Shigi. This memory gives 35% max HP and increases allies' power after one turn passes while the character has barrier. After character attacks opponents that are covering or drawing aggro 3 times, increases plus ultra skill impact of all allies and plus ultra gauge of all allies up to 3 times. A pretty good supportive memory that could be used by anyone who has a lot of barriers in their kit. Some of them won't be able to use the last part of the memory, the part about attacking opponents that are covering allies or taking aggro, but it could still be activated against teams that naturally have a tank of some sort. As for Shinsou, he can just force someone to be a tank, which is pretty funny. Timely Rescue is the new SR memory. It increases crit rate by 20% for DST type characters, and it increases critical skill impact of all allies by 15% for 3 turns after the opponent's temporary buffs are cancelled 3 times. Like what? That's so good for an SR memory. I kind of wish this was on a UR memory. Team buffs are always great to have. You know what? This banner has a really good character and great memories. If this weren't a Gen Pool banner, I would have recommended it. Alas, it's a Gen Pool banner. Only summon if you are a Shinsou fan like me. But we do have good news. Pity is 200. Reduced pity is going to be the new standard going forward for all banners, not just limited banners. I'm so glad. That means at most I'll be spending 200 tickets. Shinsou is releasing at a great time. If he had released even 1 month earlier, I would have had to use a lot more tickets on him. Thank you, Shinsou, for your perfect timing. We are also getting 2 character select recruit banners. One featuring pro heroes and villains, and the other featuring high schoolers. These banners only have characters on them and no memories, so if you are short on stars, you could get a lot of stars from here. However, I feel like the best part about these banners used to be that they were lower pity than other banners at 200 pity. But since all banners are 200 pity now, these character select recruit banners aren't all that special anymore. They're kind of just there for anyone who really wants a specific character and is willing to go to 200 pity to secure them, or if you're in need of more stars. The pro hero and villain one does have some decent characters. If you just want to fill out your roster, Red Zawa, DST Present Mike, New Mount Lady, ABL Endeavor, Edgeshot is also pretty good. I would say Strength Toga, Mr. Compress, Transgressor AFO, the new Miracle, and the new Lady Nagan are all pretty good to get. As for the high school recruit, I'd say it's less worthwhile because there are some characters you probably don't want to get. The pool is a little bigger. I'd say out of these together, Tamar Ochako, Freezing Impact Shoto, DST Tokoyami, DST Mina, Shoji, DST Monoma, Kinoko, and Pike Nejire are pretty good to get. Hagakure and Inasa are also pretty good as well. But again, I don't recommend summoning on those banners. We'll soon be having a rerun of Music Festival Denki as well, who will be returning on a step-up banner. It is also reduced to 100 pity, even though it is a rerun banner. This is a worthwhile banner to summon on, especially if you're in need of a team-wide cooldown memory. Lively Festival is a great cooldown memory you can use in Climax Battles and Club Festival. But I don't suggest using it on your arena defense team because players with Steampunk Bakugo will eat you alive if you equip your arena defense with that memory. Denki is a pretty good unit who really shines a lot more at UR+, thanks to his unique X auto skill that increases chance of causing paralysis. If you're not going for a UR+, base copy Denki is a lot less impressive. He is very useful versus the Night Eye Climax battle. So if you're in need of more characters for that fight, Denki fits the requirement. He's not much of an arena threat anymore now that the game has released more counters against him, but he was quite threatening last year. Overall, I'd say he's a pretty good unit, but no longer the threat he once was. If you are itching to summon though, I would still say that his step-up banner is pretty good value, but not completely necessary. Alright, next let's take a look at Shinsou's Plus Ultra now. Again, these data mines are thanks to Hydro's impact. Oh, he takes off his mask at the end. It's just so cool seeing Shinsou in his hero outfit. And it does look a lot more complicated than I originally thought his hero outfit is. When his hero outfit was first described, I just thought it was all black. I do find Shinsou's hero outfit to be pretty funny because here he is in all these dark colors and suddenly white boots. Last of all, let's take a look at Shinsou's kit. He is a DST unit this time, just like the new Monoma and the new present Mike. Maybe they have a theme going on. Maybe if we get a new Aizawa, he'll also be DST to match the rest. This new Shinsou is like all the new Year 4 units with enhancement. I have not been very impressed by enhancement so far, but these enhancement kits have been getting better. Let's see if Shinsou got the better end of the stick. His Plus Ultra is called Mind Attack. It deals 600% damage to a single opponent with a medium chance of confusing them for 2 turns. When he has Barrier, skill impact is increased by 50% if the opponent is confused. So if he confuses them, this Plus Ultra move will also do more damage. He reduces team cooldown by 1. That's a relief to see. No matter what the rest of his kit is, having team cooldown is huge. The easiest supports to use provide team cooldown like Celeb Momo, Fantasy Ochako, Mr. Compress, Movie Deku, and so forth. It'll be much easier to slot him into teams thanks to this. He's going to be one of the few Gen Pool characters with team cooldown, joining Mr. Compress, ABL Monoma, and Mind Melt Lady. When he is enhanced, he cancels 3 temporary buffs of a single opponent with a high chance of blocking the opponent's buffs for 2 turns if the opponent is covering allies or drawing aggro. And his skill impact is further increased by 50%. That's pretty nasty. Tanks need their buffs to be able to tank well, but Shinsou will cancel buffs and block new buffs. He says no. No, you are not surviving. His first action skill, Brainwashing, cancels 1 temporary buff of all opponents and blocks their buffs for 1 turn. No percentage on this, he just straight up blocks their buffs. It is only 1 turn, AoE buff cancelling and buff block. He also gives aggro to the opponent with the lowest current HP for 3 turns. This can't be cancelled or blocked. So this is how the game is implementing Shinsou's Brainwashing. He's brainwashing the weakest opponent to take aggro for the team. So if someone is very low HP, Shinsou will snag them, and they're going to be gone. Once Shinsou is enhanced, his plus ultra will cancel 3 temporary buffs from this opponent who has been forced to take aggro, and he has a high chance of blocking their buffs for 2 turns. And when Shinsou is enhanced, he will decrease the defense of that opponent with the lowest current HP by 20% for 3 turns. So yeah, whoever that character with forced aggro is, they are gone. Shinsou's second action skill, Binding Fall, cancels 2 temporary buffs of a single opponent and deals 325% damage with a low chance, only 20%, of blocking opponent's recovery for 2 turns. But wow, more buff canceling and even recovery block. Shinsou is looking to be quite the support character. I'm so happy his kit is looking good. When he has barrier, his chance of landing recovery block increases. I was just thinking that 20% is quite the low chance. But nope, when he has barrier, this chance is increased. By how much we don't really know, but it is increased. I'm kind of glad Shinsou is releasing after Club Festival because I would not have wanted to face him as a Club Festival opponent. When Shinsou is enhanced, he decreases a single opponent's defense by 20% for 3 turns. And since he is making the character with the lowest HP draw aggro, Shinsou will most likely land this skill on that character. So 20% defense debuff, 20% defense debuff. That character is so gone. Let's take a look at Shinsou's auto skills now. First up, Mind Control. How original, right? He gets enhanced when these 2 conditions are met at the end of a turn, after attacking opponents that are covering allies or taking aggro 6 times, and after 5 turns pass. Those are pretty easy conditions to meet. Shinsou will force a character with the lowest HP, the lowest current HP, to cover or take aggro with his first action skill. Then Shinsou will be able to land his second action skill on that character, and also his melee attacks, and also his plus ultra. So he should easily get 6 hits in within 5 turns on an opponent that is covering allies or taking aggro. So by turn 6, Shinsou should be enhanced, unless he gets stopped in his tracks by status ailments and isn't able to attack on some of the turns. Let's see, Shinsou gains a barrier that nullifies 2 hits after character attacks opponents that are covering allies or drawing aggro 2 times. That's really good. This lets him survive better, and when he has barrier, his chances at landing recovery block also increases. Okay, let's read on. When he has barrier, he makes all opponents vulnerable. Oh my gosh, that's so good. I feel that's better than Deku's single target application of vulnerable. And I would argue maybe even better than Int Lady Nagant's, because Shinsou's application of vulnerable is a passive as long as he has barrier. He doesn't even need to be the only one giving himself barrier. If he has a teammate doing it, this passive will still trigger. And vulnerable let us do a lot of damage in Club Festival and versus the Shigi Climax battle. If we look over here, vulnerable decreases the damage dealt by the character and increases the damage taken by the character. This effect increases based on the number of temporary status elements affecting the character. So Shinsou will be inflicting vulnerable on the enemies. That means they will be dealing less damage to us and will be dealing more damage to those characters. Okay, let's read on and find out what other crazy things Shinsou does. After 1 turn passes without barrier, he increases defense of all allies for 10% for 3 turns and gives the ability to make a last stand 1 time. Does he give allies last stand, or is this just referring to himself? I think it's for all of his allies, which would be really good, but either way, when he doesn't have barriers, he provides some pretty good support too. When he is enhanced, he cancels one temporary buff of all opponents after one turn passes while he has barrier. This is, I guess, the cherry on top. And that was just his first auto skill. What about his second auto skill, Rivalry Mode? Increases power of all allies by 5% for 3 turns after the opponent's temporary buffs are cancelled 1 time. Dang, Shinsou is able to cancel so many buffs on his own already. This should be activated a lot. Also, if he teams up with allies who can also cancel temporary buffs, this could maybe go really crazy. His cooldown time is reduced by 1 after the opponent's temporary buffs are cancelled 3 times. So Shinsou solves his own cooldown problem. I did see that he has 5/5 cooldowns, and his plus ultra would reduce his cooldowns to 4/4, and with this auto skill, he will reduce his own cooldowns to 3/3. Shinsou is so self-sufficient. He's not even going to need a cooldown memory. He decreases power of all opponents by 15% for 3 turns after the opponent's temporary buffs are cancelled 5 times. A good extra perk as if everything else wasn't enough. Ignores target and gives a random single ally a barrier that nullifies 2 hits after the opponent's temporary buffs are cancelled 5 times. Okay, so Shinsou also gives allies barriers, though not as frequently as the barriers for himself. But he could be giving these barriers a lot if he has teammates who are also cancelling temporary buffs. Red Zawa, Salamina, DST Present Mike would all be amazing teammates with Shinsou. If only I could pull Present Mike too. I would love to put Shinsou, Aizawa, and Present Mike on the same team. I suppose for now, I'll just have to maybe put Shinsou on the same team as a bunch of Aizawas. The new Monoma could also be a pretty good teammate, though neither of them would be doing much damage, which would be pretty funny, but they could definitely support whoever the DPS is a lot. A lot. I still can't believe it. We finally have a new Shinsou in My Hero Ultra Impact, and his kit looks so good. I'm so happy that he has a new updated kit that could be pretty impactful. Shinsou is here in his hero outfit, ready to join everyone, and I'm so ready to pull for him and have him join my game. Shinsou, surely you'll show up early and show up often, right? Please be kinder than how you were in Ultra Rumble. Those Shinsou summons of mine in Ultra Rumble have surely used up all the bad luck, so only good luck remains now. What are your summoning plans? What do you think of the new Shinsou? Let me know. See you soon in the next video. I'll be sharing my Strike Kendo summons next. Luca out.